hand up if you have a question or a comment. And please, I hope you will have tested your microphone and all those sorts of things so that everyone across the globe, you know what we've done with Paltalk's help and the technology of today. I will tell you, and Bill, you correct me if I'm wrong. That's I'm speaking with Bill Collins, who is our producer in there, and also with Cynthia. And Cynthia is, you'll see her. She's in charge of the room, and our good friend Gary Baumgarten is also with us, going to be with us today, or if he's not already there. I haven't had a chance to look on the screen. I really don't pay much attention to the screen, so if I'm talking and you have your hand up, and you know, type into the room, you know, hey, doesn't he recognize me? And I'll be glad to do that. I want to share a few words with you, and then about oil, and these are things that you should know. I'm not going to get into a long dissertation and technical, but I'll give you some terminology about what happens inside a gearbox or an engine or an air conditioner, compressor, anything that flies, floats, or rolls, everything, including the airline that you just flew in. Did you know that? Well, I can't repeat that on the air. Okay, I'm going to repeat this. Commercial airlines, it has been rumored that commercial airlines with jet engines never change their oil. Woo! Now, you would think that's bad, right? Not necessarily, because they do a lot of other things that give them an opportunity to run that oil a longer period of time than you and I could ever. But here's some buzzwords: abrasion. And I'm going to go into the each definition, but I'm just going to share with you abrasion, and then you can type on the screen which one of these that hits your hot button or you don't understand, and then I'll share it with you. Abrasion, acidity. Now this is oil. Acidity, additive. Well, we all have heard of oil additives. Contaminant failure. You know, and oil can be contaminated, and I'll give you a good example of that. If you've got an engine, if you've got a General Motors, oh, here I am with GM again. Not really. If you have a GM car that has an intake manifold leaking, it leaks coolant, that's the antifreeze coolant, into the engine, and it mixes with the oil, and that is the kiss of death to an engine, and that is contaminated coolant, a contaminated oil by coolant. Deposits, and deposits are, that's exactly what the name implied. Debris, dirt, stuff that shouldn't be there. Extreme pressure additive called EP. E is in easy or extreme, and P is in pressure. Do you use an EP additive in oil? Sure can. It's really used in differentials under heavy loads and heavy gearbox loads, but it's also a reason to use it. Film strength. Not how strong a film might be, like in Hollywood, but film meaning the film of oil on between two surfaces. Film strength, that's very important. Flashpoint. Flashpoint means how hot can you get that oil before it will vaporize. That's important. And it's important from an emission standpoint. And believe it or not, some of the newer oils under ILSAC, which is an acronym, sound like something government, right? Well, it is. It's an organization, like SAE, Society of Automotive Engineers, is an organization. Like Renewable Energy Conference is an organization. ACOR is an organization. So that is also an organization. That ASTM, which is a testing methods of the world. So a flashpoint's very important. Inhibit, that's any substance that slows or prevents chemical degradation. Lubricity, well, that's how slick it is. So that's really important. Although to lubricate is only one of 5 jobs that oil does. Micron. That's how a size of a micron. That's the size of an article, an atom, or a debris. But what that micron usually speaks to how coarse or fine the material is in an oil filter. It's important because if the oil filter, a racing oil filter, they don't even publish the micron size. 30 micron is average for cars. Whatever car you're driving right now, the oil filter that's on it, unless it's a Pure One or a Wix or a Napa Gold, will trap a 30 micron size piece of trash. Unfortunately, The trash that wears engines is 12 to 15 microns. So you say, well, wait a minute, Bobby. Why don't the oil companies or the oil filter companies, why don't they make a filter that traps what destroys engines? Well, they can't. If they put that on a car, you would drive it, and then in the morning you crank it up and race the engine up, and that fine filter that might be 10 microns couldn't flow enough oil. So rather than starve the engine and ruin the engine because the oil wouldn't flow through the filter, couldn't get through the filter has a bypass. So the filter then has a door that swings wide open, and all the stuff that's been trapped over the last 1,000, 100, or 5,000 miles, all that stuff that's being held back there gets a chance to have an open door, and it rushes out to the engine and it does damage. So it's a compromise. The 30 micron filter is a compromise, and that's what micron comes in. Multigrade oil. How can you have 5W30, 10W30, 20W50? Well, you really don't. You have 5W30 is 5-weight oil. The W stands for winter. When it's cold, that's viscosity. It flows easily, more easily than straight 30-weight. But make no mistake about it, and you can all take this to the bank. Whether you use 530 in your car, or 1030 in your car, or 030 in your car, at operating temperature, which is 200 degrees, they're all straight 30 weight. It's all straight 30 after it warms. Okay, next one is nitration. That's products that are formed during the fuel combustion, so it's not good